Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week, and I hope you've been making money. The market has been on a trend for the last couple of weeks. So many trade setups, very clear setups, easy money in the last couple of weeks, and especially in the last 2 weeks as well. Right, so we'll go through a few trade setups, some of the setups that we've been looking at, some of the setups that we have discussed in this webinars. So it has been really amazing, the accuracy and how this has just been playing out. Right, so let's get started. If you are watching this video, there are timestamps that you can look at under the description of all the videos. If you just click on the show more tab, let me just click here, show less. If you go under the description of the video and you click on show more, you will see that all the pairs that we're going to discuss here during the webinar are timestamped. So the timestamps are available a couple of hours after I upload the video, because I have to there's somebody that does this for me, so you have to sit down and watch the whole video again and stamp each and every pair. So thank you, Mike, for doing this for us. It really helps everyone who watches this, because not everybody is interested in all the pairs. Some are only looking for specific pairs. All right, so if you're only looking for specific pairs, they will be all time stamped here. Okay, so let's go through the before we go through the trade recap. If you are looking to contact me regarding the course, these are my contact details also under the description of the video. That is vmanena@gmail.com. You'll find it under the description of the video. My mobile number, which you can use via Telegram or WhatsApp, as well as my Telegram channel. The Telegram channel, you won't really find anything there except for the live webinar links for these webinars, and also my trading view link. You'll find it also under the description of my videos. So don't send inquiries into the trading view inbox, because I hardly ever check that. All right, so it's easiest if you send an email or a WhatsApp or Telegram message via my mobile number, which you will find there. Right, so the trades have been amazing for the last week. So let's see what we have looked at. Now, you have to go and watch last week's video where I explained the US dollar JPY trade. Okay, so if you go and click under trade recap on last week's video, let's just check here where that last week's video is here. I'll just click on it here. So this is last week's video. If you go click on US dollar JPY under trade recap, you'll see a detailed explanation on how this US dollar JPY was going to play out. Okay, and also on the actual analysis, you go click again on US dollar JPY and see what we analyzed. Okay, and this was the setup that we traded in the week. Unfortunately, we cannot update this during the week because we only have these webinars on Sunday. So this is what we looked at, and this was our trade setup, and this trade played out inch perfect. Let's have a look here on the trade setups. This is on our group now. So this is what we do in our group. We have trade setup, setup channel where I post the charts, and then we look at entries and exits, right? And all other members, they will share their charts in the respective channels, for each and every pair that you see there. Now, this is trade setups, and this is the latest trade that we looked at last week. Let's have a look here. This was US dollar JPY. So now if you go to your charts and you check US dollar JPY and what the explanation was and what we expected this to do, you'll see that US dollar JPY did exactly what we expected it to do. Okay, dropped from the blue box, couple of 100 pips already. We're already somewhere around this area now. We're already somewhere around here. Okay, so I'm expecting it to go all the way down. Now this, if you remember, I explained this last week as well. You'll see that explanation that from when this made this upward move here, I expected this to go down. Okay, so it did not go down. I explained this last week as well. Let's just clear this here. Let's just clear that. So it did not go down like that. And now also when it didn't go down from here, we saw that it was making a three-wave move. Now, even then, we expected that it was going to go all the way down. Now, you can see that it didn't, but instead it made 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 back. Now, last week we were here and we said, okay, this is what's going to happen. It's going to come into the blue box and we're expecting the big trade. Now, you can get it a few times wrong within the correction. It does not mean the Elliott wave theory is wrong. It just means that you are looking at a piece of a puzzle without enough information. But with this information, you could focus that we're going to get a push higher and you're going to get this big drop to the downside. And this is how it has now eventually played out. Now, let's have a look at how USDJPY has played out since last week. That's USDJPY, amazing trade. Look what happened. What happened first? Who would have told you that this was going to move, push higher, and it was going to drop? And look at that from the blue box. A very, very nice drop there. So let's just check here. This is still going to continue to the downside, but if you didn't catch it there, then you are already late. Already 280 pips in just a matter of a few days, just 2 days actually. Okay, so that was the drop, and that is how USDJPY played out. Now, another one that we have looked at was CHFJPY. Let's have a look at CHFJPY. Let's have a look at CHFJPY. Should be right at the top because that was a trade from July. So let's have a look here. Should be right at the top. We looked at this one in July. CHFJPY. Here is CHFJPY. Now, this is how you trade practically. So you see that we looked at this to be a three-wave move. Not I can't imagine how many traders would have got this type of correction because this was a complex one, right? So this is what happened. We expected that it was going to drop, but it does not drop in a straight line. We expected that after it does this, we were going to get a corrective structure. Okay, now what kind of correction? This is what I always tell you, that you are not always going to know which kind of corrective structure it's going to be. So I just showed the arrow that we're going to get a corrective structure because that's what the sequence is saying. Right, so now what has happened after that? After that, the correction starts as we expected. Now, which correction is it? Which corrective structure is it making? We don't know at this stage. We cannot see clearly. Now, as it goes, we can see that the correction is starting to play out. We're starting to get a structure, and this one started to look like a three-wave move. Was it complete? No, it was not complete, and now we followed it up with an update, and this was the trade setup that I gave you last week, and I said this was going to push into the blue box. This was actually 2 weeks back. It was going to push into the blue box, and we're expecting this big move. These are the moves that we trade. This inside, you can focus it and you get it right, but I'm not trading this. This is not money. The money is here. The money is here. And this is what you need to be able to identify. Where are the impulses coming? Now, how did this play out? Now, if you look at this one here, let's just see here. Okay, so there's no update here on this one. I thought I have updated it. So if let's just go through onto the CHFJPY setup and see how that has played out. And that is how what you see there. Let's go full screen just so you can see clearly. Now, that was the blue box. This was the blue box. I've updated it a couple of times as it was playing out. When it was doing this, we were not so confident because it looked like it was going to make a move back up first before it dropped, but it just dropped from the blue box, and you can see how many pips that has dropped. Amazing. So how would you have known that it was going to make this from the top here? As it was making the structure, we were following it. We were following the corrective structure. We were following the corrective structure to see which one is going to make it. So that's why I say you're going to get a corrective structure, but you may not necessarily know which one, because there are 5 types of corrections that you find in the wave theory, but which one is it going to make? And do you know when it is completed? So a lot of people now understand this WXY, corrective structures and all that, but the critical part is where you identify the setup and you actually get the trades. And this is how this one has played out. Let's see how many pips here from the blue box. It was already dropped over 200 pips from the blue box, and we're still expecting more downside on this one. Okay, all right, so this is how this one has played out. Right, so another one that was amazing was pound yen. Pound yen, let's look at pound yen. So I showed you a historical analysis, not a historical analysis, a daily analysis that I did last year on pound yen. So what I do here, guys, I show you the structure that I'm expecting. So if it plays out, you see what I was looking at, or if it doesn't play out, you see how I was looking at the structure. So let's go through to pound yen. So I want to explain this too, because there was somebody who made a comment that I did not show it the way it has played out, or the way I've analyzed it. So let's have a look here at what we looked at. Now, those who have been following these webinars since last year, so this was 23 June last year, you will see, if you go check on your chart, watch here, I expected that this was going to drop here, we were going to get this here, and we're going to get this one here to the top. This reached 1, 2, 3, 4 moves in January. This was January, right? So 1, 2, 3 moves on the daily. You can go count how many pips that was. Why was I looking at that? So now let's just have a look here. I was looking at that because there was a 1, 2, 3 wave move to the upside, and now I was expecting a 1, 2, 3 move to the downside. Okay, now when this reached the target, what was the next expectation? We expected that we're going to get a move to the upside. I was expecting that this move was even going to be higher than that. So I have been calling for 156 from around the end of the year, no, from the beginning of the year, around March this year. Why was I calling for 156? Because I was expecting this structure. How did that play out now? Let's see how this has played out. So this has played out like this. It went up here like this, and it was confirming what I was expecting. Now, if you look at this here, it's even started here. We'll go to the structure now. It started doing this, and even when it was doing that, I was expecting that now we are getting a W and we're getting an X, and minimum we are going to retest this level. And this is the reason why I was calling for 156. You can go watch the previous videos, right? So now we did not get to 156. Now this has started dropping, and we are actually back at January levels. It has made this move here. We'll go through to the structure now. It has made this move here. So I didn't get my move to the 156 that I was expecting, and it actually reversed. But if you look at the last 3 weeks, we have been getting these trade setups here. Over 700 pips to the downside. Now I missed this. Okay, but now we got this here. So let's go to the trade setups that we've looked at in July under pound yen. So let's look at pound yen on the actual trade. So that was forecasting. Now this is the actual trade that you take. Now this is on trade setups. Let's have a look at pound yen. Pound yen, amazing trades. 4 consecutive trades, all playing out 100% inch perfect. So this is what happens when the market is on a trend. Just make note, guys, it's August. It's August now, and August is a slow trading month. So if you did not make money in the last couple of weeks watching these videos, you really need help. Let's have a look here. I'm looking for pound yen. Let's find pound yen. Okay, pound yen. So this is where it all started on pound yen, and you'll see the updates. You started taking it from the blue box, dropped a couple of 100 pips. Let's have a look here. That was the first drop, and we had the second drop here. The second drop was this one. This was the 1 week drops, correction again, showed that it's going to drop again. Another one, okay, so this was actually when it was reaching the target, the expected target. And then there was another one. This was another one. You can see here another corrective structure. Blue box, drops. Another one last week again, and drops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All of this playing out. Let's see. Let's check here on the real chart. Let's go back to the chart. Pound yen. Let's look at pound yen and just look at how that has played out. All of those moves forecasted. Let's switch this off. You can see that this was the first one from the blue box. Second one, correction. Second one, 3-wave pullback. Fourth one, 1, 2, 3, pullback, and then a drop. Okay, we are right now where we expected that the target was going to be, back at January lows. Now just look at how many pips this has dropped. And this was actual trades now from the blue box to current levels. That's over 850 pips in the last 4 weeks, from July alone up until now. From the 2nd of July up until now. That is 850 pips in one pair. Actual trading, not forecasting. Right, so that's pound yen, and that is played out amazingly well. So let's have a look at the rest now. I was looking at silver as well. Silver, I was watching a video from 6 to 10 May. Go watch the video from 6 to 10 May. You will see that silver, we did not only focus after the breakout of this. This is actually what I have. From May, silver, we expected that it was going to come here from May already. And you can see that this was the break of the 3-wave pullback up to the 1640 level that we expected, and that is how that one has played out. You can go watch 610 May video. There are no timestamps there. I've only timestamped this one, silver and gold. So you can go watch silver and gold. Just go and click on it. Silver and gold 53.13. You'll see how amazing that has played out. All right, another one was that we looked at last week was USDCAD. USDCAD, we're actually going to look at it during the analysis. So let's go through that. Let's look at also pound AUD. Pound AUD is also at a critical level now. We're going to look at that during the market analysis. Now, our trade for the next couple of weeks is euro pound. Let's look at euro pound, and what we're looking at. Euro pound is going to be is one of the trades that we're going to be looking at in the next couple of weeks. So euro pound is this one here. Is this one here. You'll see if you go to the charts, we expected that it was going to make a 3-wave pullback and push higher. It is exactly what it has done now. It has now broken this top. We still haven't got any signs of reversal yet because we're expecting this big move to the downside. So when we see the signs, we'll be able to take that. Now, Euro New Zealand. So Euro New Zealand is another trade that we have to look at now because it has now retraced all the gains that it has made from the from the analysis. So this was a Euro New Zealand, has dropped about 700 pips, and now it looks like it has retraced all of those gains. So we have to wait for this one now and see what structure it's going to make. Right, so let's have a look here at how Euro New Zealand has played out. We'll do this also during the market analysis. Let's have a look at this now. Right, so this is let's go to Euro New Zealand. So Euro New Zealand will go to the daily. You can see that almost all of those gains have been retraced. 60%, 61% of those gains have been retraced. And now we need to see what structure it's going to make. And this is an impulsive 5-wave move. At some point, we're going to have to get a deeper corrective structure here and this trade to the downside. So what the expectation to the downside, we have to give it more time now to play out because we have not got all the way to where we wanted it to go. We wanted it to go all the way down here. We only got this one here, 700 pips. All 50% of those gains have been retraced. So we wanted this. I wanted this to have a minimum target on this one. So this has now been invalidated. Okay, actually can close this trade and wait for how it's going to play out. All right, so that is a Euro New Zealand. Now let's get into the market analysis. Before we get into that, so just one of the things that we do in the group. So they are on all these channels, you'll see that we've got historical analysis on the pair. So I have to go look at pound AUD because it is at a critical area now. So this is a historical chart analysis on EU and on pound AUD. We are right at the critical level of the correction that has been taking place from 2017 up until now. So this is the corrective structure. If this is the end of this correction, we are going to get a big move to the downside. Minimum is going to be around this level. We're going to update this during the market analysis. So that's where we've got updates of all the dailies, most of the daily charts and the 4-hour charts in these channels. That's where I post them. I pin them up here for members to see the analysis. So Slack is an amazing tool to use for a trading group, okay, for a trading room. Now let's get started with today's analysis. We're going to start, as always, we're going to start with cryptocurrencies. We'll start first with Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has played out exactly as we expected, the forecast. If that's what we expected last week, was that Bitcoin was here in this corrective structure. We expect that it was gonna push lower, retest here. You'll see 1, 2, 3 moves have been completed as we expected. Now, what is it gonna do from here? It doesn't look like it's gonna pull back here, but the expectation was that this may make another move like this. Let me just use a different color here. So you'll see that we've got this 3-wave pull back here like this. So this 3-wave pullback may be something like this. So we could have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, but this one in terms of degree is a little bit bigger to the rest. So let's have a look here. So this can just be a 1, a 2, and a 3. So we've got this corrective structure in 3 waves, as you can see here. 1, 2, we were here, 1, 2, 3 completed. Now what do we expect? A possibility of a structure like this. Okay, then that makes a WXY structure. Now you see here, somebody has asked, do you use Fibonacci levels in your trading? Yes, I do use Fibonacci. If I have to use Fibonacci and show you the exact levels here, this video is going to take 5 hours because that takes time. Okay, so I'm just showing you the structures and the forecast, and sometimes I show you the exact setups and exact areas where the market is going to react. Now this is what we expect, and we'll wait for this correction to complete and a possibility of this to push higher. So that is Bitcoin. We're still in this corrective structure, nothing much here to trade at this stage. Okay, so just look out for Bitcoin. Now Litecoin here. Now Litecoin also has made this 3-wave pullback that we looked at. This is on the 4-hour now. Let me just go daily. So rather 4 hours. Okay, now we've got this 3-wave pullback on Litecoin. There's a push up here. It's a push up here. 3 waves down. There's another move here. This could be doing this here to come and retest here. Possibility of this one coming up here as well, and another. If this is going to be a single it's not going to be a single correction. You're going to have something like this. So we don't know which structure it's going to make, but you can see, as with Bitcoin, you'll expect a double correction as well and a push higher. Okay, we'll see the structure as and when we get more information on this. So this one here will be an ABC structure, ABC, and then we expect 1, 2, 3, and then we expect to push higher. So what will happen? So you'll be looking to trade it like this. Okay, right, so that is Litecoin. Nothing much to trade here. Still looking, pulling back for the corrective structure. Right, Ethereum. We've got similar as Litecoin. We've got this pullback here. This actually looks impulsive. This pullback here. So it looks like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a 1, you got 2, you got 3. This could be a 4, and then we get a 5 and a bigger corrective structure. More correction and a pulsing move to the downside and then upside. So this still looks far much more to the downside. So here we'll be looking for this pulsing move. There's a correction here. It's a pullback. Could be coming down here like this. Pullback here, same as Bitcoin. Make the last wave 5 here. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. 1, 2. See, sometimes you do get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. So the thing is, with the people are trying to count waves on a chart that is generated by a computer. I mean, in the 1930s, the charts were developed by a plotter on a graph paper. That was easy to count with the physical eye. So you're trying to count 1, you find 1 of 2, 1 of which degree. I don't even listen to that when people post me charts, because I know that you cannot be looking at the chart the same way that you looked at them in the 1930s. That is why you need to trade the Elliott wave theory differently. You need to be able to identify these sequences and cycles, and without even having to count the 1 of 1, showing 3 degrees in 1, that does not help anyone. It just complicates the charts, and you cannot do that with a naked eye. These are computer generated charts, so you cannot be trading them the same way that you did in the 1930s. We are in a different era now, and you need to use a different system of trading. Now, this will be 3, this will be 4. You can see that it's clear, 5 waves, so we'll be looking for a push lower. What could happen here? If this is a pulsing move and we're expecting this as a pulsing move, the whole thing here should be a corrective structure. So this should be your wave A, this should be your wave B, your wave C, and upside. Okay, so we'll be looking for that. We'll be waiting for that to complete, because that's not what we're trading right now. That is Ethereum. Then lastly, XRP, that is Ripple now. Let's look at Ripple. It's also busy with these corrective structures. Let's have a look at how the corrective structure is going to play out. We've got a pulsing move here. You've got a correct 3-wave pullback. Could make this one here, and then downside here. Retest the top before we come down. Why do I want it to make that structure? Okay, so that is the structure here. Let me show it with a different color. Why do I want this structure? Because I still want it to come down to the downside, and this will be a WXY structure here, WXY. Internally, you also have a WXY structure. We'll show it with red as well. You've got a W, you got an X, you got a Y. Okay, so what am I expecting? I'm expecting a bit of a push up to higher to complete this one here, and then coming down with 3 waves. As you can see, we had 3 waves here. We also have a WXY structure here. We also have a WXY structure here. Okay, so this is what we're expecting. This is a corrective structure, and this is not something that we trade. There's no money here. The money is here, even though we are not trading this because we're waiting for the whole corrective structure. So this is the move that I'm waiting for. If you look on the daily on Ripple, the move that you're waiting for is not this current correction. You're waiting for this move to the upside. Let's show this one here. So the reason why I'm looking for that continuation pattern here, that's the continuation pattern I was showing you, is that we are waiting for this move here. Retest the bottom here, and then this is the move. This is the money. This is the money. This is where the money is. Okay, so we're waiting for that to come do that and then push higher. So that is the move that we're waiting for, and now we got that continuation pattern to the downside. Okay, so that is the cryptocurrencies. Now let's look on now to the major pairs, the US dollar pairs. Let's start with the Euro US dollar. Euro US dollar, amazing, and somebody has made a comment that this has been giving me a hard time. Yes, it has been quite complex when we were looking at this corrective structure. I have to admit that it has, because at some point we were not looking at this diagonal. Excuse me, we were looking at this to be a corrective structure, a double corrective structure here. So at some point we were looking for this to be something like this, and we still get a wave 5 here, and then we still expected that we're going to get this pullback. So now we're looking at this diagonal, and there was a trade here that we looked at here on Euro US dollar to complete the wave 5 up until the blue box. Now you'll see that on Friday we reversed right from the blue box. That is not confirmed yet. We will look at that in the week, how that is going to play out. Are we now going to get our pullback that we've been waiting for so long? Okay, so let's have a look here in the lower time frame. Before we go to the lower time frame, let's just go full screen here and just look at the structure here. So this is the structure that we were looking at. We were looking for this to be let's show this with red, as it is shown in the red degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're looking at this one as an ending diagonal. So if you look internally here, you'll see that you've got a lower degree, 1, 2, 3, that 4 was a triangle, and then a 5. Okay, so if that is the case, now you've got a leading diagonal, ending diagonal within the structure, which is 3 waves down, 3 waves back, 3 waves down, and 3 waves back, and then lastly 3 waves down here onto the wave 5. Now if the reversal on Friday is anything to go by, we should be getting that pullback from the euro, but it is not confirmed yet. You cannot go and rush on this. Yes, you've got the impulse. Let's go look at that in the lower degree. Okay, so euro, if you look at trade setups, I've been looking at this one for a while now to drop into that level. Just have a look here, trade setups. It's just has not been giving us the exact setups as we expected, as per the strategy. So this is a Euro US dollar, so we'll be looking for this one to give us that wave 5 all the way down. Okay, so the reason why I say it has not been going as expected is because this corrective structure has actually just made this move here before it dropped. So there was not a nice entry point. It actually got us out there before we got to the downside. Now let's have a look here. This is euro, and on the 4-hour, let's look on the 4-hour. You'll see that right from the blue box, this was projected last week, we have made the impulsive move. Now this impulsive move does not mean anything until you get a corrective structure here, and we've got a system that we use other than this that confirms reversal and that is part of the strategy that we use in our group, so that we don't show here in these videos. That's part of what we've got a confirmation. We call it a 1, 2, 3 confirmation, where you've got a structure and the indicators confirming reversal or reaction at a point. Okay, so this is now we've done. Now we're going to wait for that confirmation. You haven't got it as yet, so let's wait for that to play out, right? But otherwise, this is playing out amazingly well. Right, so US dollar CAD also, I've updated this one in our group. You'll see that it has made this 3-wave pullback, and it is now pushing higher. Okay, so let's show the bigger structure here. And I think last week I showed why I don't expect this to push lower. I showed you why I don't expect this to push lower. So you already see that we've got this already in our group. Let's go US dollar CAD. Already the forecast is already on our group. from in the week already. Okay, so if you're in a group, you would have seen this reversing from when the week started. So this is the one here. You see that as soon as it started there, we expected the reverse, the correction. We already have that correction now, and then we're expecting this one to confirm upside. Not confirmed as yet, so let's wait for that confirmation, and that is the expectation. Now, what are we looking at here? We're looking for this to go and possibly make a Z like that. Now, why did I say this is not going to break through at this stage? Because it has made a three-way move down, and that is similar to what has happened previously to what we've traded before. You'll see here, this has made a three-wave move down. Let's have a look here. I just want to switch everything off here. Let's go out of this full screen. I want to take this off here. So let's go full screen again. Now, if you look at this, last year I've traded this year. This was a W, not like that. It was a W, X, Y, X, Z. Now, I've shown this so many times in these videos. The reason why I didn't expect this to drop from here, and trendline traders were doing this. Trendline traders were doing this. This is the trend line. It has broken. It is broken here, and it was retesting the trend line around here, and they were trying to sell here. But I could see exactly what we are seeing right now with this here. 1, 2, 3. That this is not ready to go down as yet. So we traded this to the upside first before it comes down. Now, what good is a trend line if we're going to adjust it? So after this, they adjust the trend line from this to this now. So if you're trading trend lines, you would only have gotten this trade here. Okay, so you would have missed this piece here. Nothing wrong with that, but you would have missed quite a number of moves. So this is how we traded this one. I'll show you just now. So now we also have something similar here. We've got this looking like this here. This is the trend line now. Okay, so this is what we're looking at here. So the trend line does not mean anything, even if this three-wave move has broken it. Even if this three-wave move has broken it, like this, we're expecting this to do that. In any case, you're going to come here and adjust this trend line, and your trend line is going to look like this now. After this is eventually played out, it's going to look like this. So the trend line is not any good if you're going to keep adjusting it. It means it is not a trading tool. Okay, I just use this to identify the structures, because this is what you're going to have now. Okay, so same as you had this year, you will have something like this, yes, a channel here, and then you'll be looking for this one to drop here after this, making this move. 1, 2, 3, and then we drop. This was 1,300 pips. We'll be expecting similar after this move. If we get a three-wave move to the upside here, I'm expecting a big move to the downside. And let's now look at how we traded this. So you can see that this is not in hindsight. I have to keep showing you this. And the reason why I show you this is to build confidence in the method itself. So let's have a look here. How we traded the US dollar CAD 2 years back, and how we got this 1,300 pips to the downside. Let's go to this here. I have to find that now quickly, and this is how this one has played out, US dollar CAD. So you can see how accurate this becomes. Now you can see here, this was US dollar CAD 2 years back in 2017. You can see 2017 February. And this is why I did not expect, when trendline traders were expecting this move here, saying that it has broken, I was expecting this move to the upside. And we actually got 1,200 pips in this move. So it was 600, a correction, and another 600 pips to the upside. Inch perfect from this 1,200 pips, got another 1,300 with this move to the downside. So you've already seen how the chart has played out from there, and that is how this one has played out. And you can see while we're trading that 1,200 pips to the upside, because it was this one here. It corrected, made another 600 pips, and just like the US dollar JPY trade that you saw in the beginning, pushed into the blue box, and not a peep higher, not a peep lower. This reversed from here for 1,300 pips. Now, this is the kind of confidence that this gives you when you trade similar setups. Okay, so now let's go back to the chart. So this is what this one looks like. This is what happened. This is the 600 pips up, the correction, and then the 600 pips up, and then the 1,300 pips. Now, we had been trading this one here, correction, and this one here. Now, if we look also on trade setups from the beginning of this year, we have been looking at this at this and for the drop here. So let's have a look here at the pinned chart. You'll see that on US dollar CAD as well. Let's have a look at those pinned items. See if you can find. You'll see that this move here is this one here. This is where we were, and this one was the setup. Okay, that was the Z that we were looking for on US dollar CAD, and we've got this now. We have made one. Let's drop here. So now we have adjusted that this is not actually the Z because it is coming down in 3 waves. Okay, so let's have a look here at the updates. You'll see that as this was coming up, this has actually pushed higher than where we are now. It has actually pushed more further up, and then we're coming down with this move here. Okay, you'll see the adjustment as this was coming, as this was going on. We're looking for this one to reverse to complete that corrective structure. Okay, as I've shown you, this has pushed up around the 138 area. You'll see that with the current chart, and that has been the expectation as this was coming up here. So this, the setups that I'm showing you, was when this was doing this, and this when we eventually got this. We were looking for this to be there, moved all the way to the downside, but because it did not go in a straight line, it made this here. That's why we're now expecting that we're gonna have a Z here. Hope that is clear. So that is the confidence that this gives you if you are looking at it clearly and you are confident of the method. Now, what if you were not confident of what you were doing? Yeah, yes, you know the WXYs and structure, but sometimes it doesn't play out and you don't understand why it doesn't play out. Would you put your money into something like that? Okay, I put my money into this because I've seen it work, it is accurate, and I have benefited from it. Okay, so that is US dollar CAD, and that is how that one looks like. US dollar CHF, you'll see there was a trade I showed on the trade setups last week that has not gone all the way as expected. It has made a few moves to the upside. So this was the setup from here. I expected this one to go into the blue box before dropping. It has now dropped before getting to the blue box. There's nothing wrong with that. It is still an accepted structure. It's a zigzag with a short C, right? So then we've got this move to the downside. Now the minimum target on US dollar CHF is this one here. It will be going with US dollar JPY. So you'll be looking for this one to minimum get to that level. Okay, easy trading on US dollar CHF. Now, if you're looking for US dollar CHF to come down, remember what I said here when we traded this. I said expect this to go up as the euro was coming down, and the euro has completed the move to the downside. This one has completed the move to the upside. Although earlier than we wanted, it is now coming down like this. So the euro could now be pushing higher as we have expected in the analysis. Okay, so as the euro starts to that move, then US dollar CHF should be coming down. It's just the inverse, right? Very clear. US dollar JP, pound US dollar, you'll see that the historical analysis on pound US dollar is here. Let's have a look at daily analysis on pound US dollar. This is the weekly, very clear. And you'll see that we're expecting this one to keep coming here. And that is what it has been doing. So this area here is critical on pound US dollar. We'll see what happens there. It is currently dropping to that level, as you'll see also with the, this is an old one. It's an old one. So this was when it was making that expanding flat. It has actually made this move here like that, and then we were dropping with this move. So that was an old setup here. I was trying to look for the most recent one. Let me check if they've got an update on this one. Only the, oh yeah, here is one. Here is one, it's just not pinned. So this is the daily, and this is now has been pushing lower into this wave 5, and you'll see that is exactly how this one has played out as we expected. This is pound US dollar. Pound US dollar, let's go daily. You'll see that this is an amazing one. So we actually even had a small trade here. It's not that small because this is a daily. So we're looking to complete this wave 5, right? So now wave 5 here. Let's see here if we're gonna get any pullback. We want this to come down a little bit more. So it's correcting here. Let's see if we're gonna come down a little bit more into the blue box, because the blue box on this is right here around these levels. So still more downside on the pound, on pound US dollar. US dollar ZAR. Now before we go to US dollar ZAR, let's do AUD and New Zealand. We'll finish with the US dollar ZAR. Now AUD and New Zealand still pushing lower, and the target is the previous January lows. Okay, so we'll be looking at this one to come down here. Now looking at pound yen and euro yen that have already broken below this January lows, this one may be going further down. So let's just watch and see what happens at these levels. Okay, So you cannot be taking any new trades here if you're not looking at this one here. So because this could make this move to the upside here before dropping, and that is also a possible move. So this could be the last move here, 1, 2, 3 wave here, and then we'll be looking for one more move to the downside. That is Audi US dollar. Same as New Zealand US dollar, nothing new to trade there, except you'll be looking for this one to come and retest the level here. It's not a support or resistance level, guys, it's a structural level. So we're looking for this one here. This level may be even insignificant because this could be a WXYXZ structure, okay? And then we push higher and then we come down here. So let's see how this one goes. Nothing to do there on Audi US dollar. On New Zealand US dollar. Now let's look at US dollar ZAR. Now US dollar ZAR, I have to show you what I was expecting here, still as is here. So US dollar ZAR, I was expecting these to come drop into the blue box first before retesting the 1580s. Okay, so that is not how this one has played out now. So how this has played out now is this. So let's first show what we expected that did not play out. We expected this was going to be a 3-wave move. I expected this was going to be another 3-wave move, and I expected that we were going to have a 3-wave move like this. Okay, so this looks like the structure is not going to play out like this. So you can see that this whole thing is a corrective structure, and when this is done, unfortunately, it's bad news for South Africa, for the South African rand, because after this corrective structure is done, we don't know how long this is going to take. After this correction is done, there's going to be more weakness for the South African rand. Okay, but how is this playing out now? So that was the expectation. Let's see how we adjust this. Now, this is the 3-wave move that we were expecting. It is actually not playing out like that. It is playing like this. So we actually have an expanding flat here. You have an expanding flat here. So the structure is still this, that, and then we're going to be looking for this to retest the 1580 area. Okay, the 1580 area, which is here. That is the expectation now. You've got this move to the upside, and this is correlated to US dollar CAD. So we're expecting US dollar CAD to push higher, South African rand to push higher as well. So after that, at this area, I'll be expecting another 3-wave move or a pulsing move to the downside. How this one is going to play out will determine how we label this. Okay, so this is the structure, and then we'll be looking for this one here. And now the bad news for the South African rand will come when this corrective structure is completed. Okay, let's watch and see how that goes. All right, it will be time to invest on the dollar when you get around these levels again. Right, but for now, you've got the move here to the upside. Corrective structures, pullbacks, you take them up until the 1570 area. Okay, so the 4 hours, just quick look on the 4 hour. You haven't got any corrective structure, it's too small. The corrective structure that would have been a nice entry point is this one here, but even this one was not very clear. It is actually a 3-wave pullback, but not a very clear one at that point. Here, this one was not showing a clear impulse, so you would not have taken it here, only up to this corrective structure. So pullbacks, expect them to push higher. Okay, so this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and extended wave 5. We get a pullback here. The pullback here will be a corrective structure. Expect a move to the upside. Right, so that's the US dollar pairs. Now let's look at the yen pairs and then gold, silver and gold. So let's look at the yen pairs. I've already shown pound yen in detail and what we were expecting with pound yen. So let's have a look here. So I've advised the members in our group to exit all the trades on pound yen after reaching the previous January lows here, because at this point we could be getting a deeper corrective structure here or a reversal. So let's just have a look here on the weekly here so you can see what we need to look at here now, because we are almost at the end of the swing. Okay, so that is the structure to the upside. That is the move now. I believe because we have now broken out of here, we may even retest these lows here. But from here, there's also a possibility of a structure. So that's why we want to exit here. And after making all of those money, you don't want to be giving up profits simply for this short remaining move here. Okay, so as I explained, for those that did not get this one here, is that we had a setup to come here and push higher. Okay, so as this was coming up with this move here, after reaching here, as it was coming up here, this was the correct, we're looking at this to be a corrective structure, expecting that it was going to push higher, break the 156 level, and make a move like this. Okay, so that is how this plays out. You're not going to get all of them, but you should get more than what you get wrong. Right, so this one here was the setups. You got this 800 pips from here all the way down here. Very, very nice trades here. Okay, so that is how you look at the structure practically. So look for this one here, passing move here. This could even be a pullback on its own, and we can get to this level, and that will be a three-way move. Let's show here. This will be 3 up, 3 down. We just need to see what happens when you get to this level, because at that level you could have a bounce up. The bounce up that I was expecting here could only be coming here, and then you get this one here. Then if you get here, you'll be getting this move. So let's watch and see how that goes. WXY. So this is your next level here on pound yen. No signs of reversal at this stage, still pushing lower. Right, so that is pound yen, and you'll see the higher degree structure. I'm showing you the higher degree structure because the swing is towards the end, and this is what we do. When the swings come to the end, you need to update your charts, your higher degree structures. Right, so let's look at USDJPY. Is there anything more to talk about this one? This was an amazing one that we looked at in the week, and this has played out amazingly well. So let's look at the daily. Let's go to the 4-hour rather. I've actually shown, if you look at a couple of weeks back, I've shown you why I'm expecting USDJPY to go all the way down, and that any pullback on USDJPY is an opportunity to trade. So let me recap and show you that. Those that have been watching the videos 2 years back will remember how we traded this one to the downside to get this 1, 2, 3. Okay, a couple of weeks back said this one, let's look at it as a corrective structure, and we expect this one to be a last move to the downside here. Okay, so let me just take this off so you can see here clearly. So you're going to have this one here as a W, as an X, and a Y. So this is what we're expecting here. And then here, let's just made a mistake here. Let's just make it clear here. That's a 3-wave move down. This is also another 3-wave move. This is why we're trading this one to the downside. The current move to the downside is here. I hope you can see clearly. This is the current move, and we're expecting that we're going to retest here. We're going to have a bit of a reversal here, bounce here to come and give us this structure. So you're going to have a correction here, an X here, and another corrective structure here. Now, what do you have after that? So that is a whole corrective structure is 1, 2, 3 that you see there. And then you'll see here, we look at this one as a pulsing move, A. The whole thing here is your B. The whole thing there is your C. So you'll be expecting this move. Okay, so that is your whole corrective structure. Now, is that the end of it? No, it's just not. So you've got here 3-wave move down, and then you'll be expecting these 3-wave moves to the downside. That's also not the end of it. You've got this move here, you've got this move here, and you can see that for the next 2 or 3 years, we know what USDJPY is going to do. Okay, now you can know this and not make a single cent out of it, because the timing is absolutely critical, and the indicator that we use to confirm trades here should be able to improve your win rate. Okay, so this is the structure now. There's the trade that we looked at in the weeks. Let's go 4 hour. Let's do that. That is what we looked at in the week. What do you expect now? We are currently in that downside that you saw on the weekly. Okay, so that is the move, and that is what we're expecting. Very nice trade. Euro yen. Euro yen, let's go a bit higher. Trade we take from here. Target was somewhere around here, exited, and now it looks like it's breaking below this. So we need to look at what's going to happen from these levels. If it's breaking, this is the previous January low. So you'll see that most of the pairs have done this in January. We had these spikes to the downside here. So any move below that, it means we're not going to have a structure there. Instead, we're going to have a move to the downside. No signs of reversal, and that is what we're looking at on the euro. You need to, what's going to happen with the euro is that it's going to push a little bit lower. It's going to push a little bit lower because pound yen is still going to push a little bit lower as well. Okay, so that is the structure that you're going to be looking at on Euro Yen. CHFJPY, also another amazing one. As much as you know that this is coming down now, I have to go back now here. Now, a lot of people would not have known what structure was playing out here when this was happening. Okay, most people will not have identified this three-way move, and this is how we looked at this one. A clear regular flat there, and we looked at this. Go watch the previous videos, you'll see that this is exactly what we expect. I expected this to reverse from the blue box here, okay, because of this, and then I expected this one to drop. Okay, now does it drop in a straight line? It does not drop in a straight line, and this is how people are losing money, because you just want a trade to go all the way down, and when you're in a trade and it starts reversing like this, you are overexposed, you get out, it keeps going, you get in, and then it starts taking you out, you get out, you're out of loss, and then that's how you're gonna lose money if you do not have the timing. So this is how this one has played out, and let's just have a look here. Yes, just want to exit here. Now this one has played out exactly as we expected. From the blue box, drops, that correction that we looked at for the past 2 weeks, and then drops again. Now, what am I expecting? If you look on the daily, this one looks like a very nice corrective structure like this that is completed. We can now see that this is not going to go further. We are now going to retest the bottom here, and this is the target, just a few pips from target here. Now, this can even go back to the January lows here. Like you see all the pairs coming down back to the January lows. All right, so that is how this one has played out. Let's go for hour. For hour, you'll see that this is correcting again, and it's still gonna keep going down to our target. Okay, to the target. Amazing trade, this, just like USDJPY. All right, so that's CHFJPY, AUD. Okay, AUDJPY, we disqualified the possibility of this one reversing and making an expanding flat here when it broke down here and made a corrective structure. So for now, you exit your AUD yen, because the yen pairs are now looking, all of them looking downside here. So this is what we expected. We expected that we were gonna get a bit of a push higher on this one. Instead, we did not get that three-wave pullback. It just reversed from current levels. Okay, it was not a nice structure in any case, because this one looked like a pulsing move and it just reversed from there. So that was not a clear structure. Okay, right, so that is AUD yen, similar to New Zealand yen, also made a pulsing move to the upside. Actually, this was a three-way move to the upside, which looked like an expanding flat at some point and then dropped like this. Also expected a bit of a push to the upside. Okay, that is New Zealand yen. CAD yen, expected it to at least come back to this level. So that's why we looked at this one to be a corrective structure. So now we can see that the structure has changed. The update here on this one is that you're gonna have 1, you're gonna have 2, you're gonna have 3, pull back in 3 waves, and then you're gonna have 1, you're gonna have 2, you're gonna have 3, back to the January lows. You can see all the pairs are leading back to the January lows. Okay, so this is the low that most of these pairs, all the yen pairs have got from January, same as the US dollar pairs as well. As you've seen, AUD and New Zealand US dollar. Okay, so that is now, you're waiting for this bit of a pullback here to get this three-way move here on CAD yen. All right, that is CAD yen. Now let's look at silver and gold. Silver, I refer you to the video from, let's have a look here, 6 to 10 May. Go on to 53.13, you will see how we forecasted silver, not just from the current levels, not just from this corrective structure, not just from here. We forecasted silver from when it was still coming down here, not even when it was pushing higher. When it was coming down here, we forecasted that silver was going to reach 1440 area. Okay, 1440 area, which it has now reached. Based on this, we're looking for this one to go and retest this here. Okay, last week we expected that we're going to have a bit of a pullback here. Let's see how this one is going to play out now. So let's have a look here at this structure. Maybe one more push to the upside on silver because we're expecting gold to push higher. So I expect silver to keep continuing to the upside. Expecting silver to continue pushing to the upside after this pullback. Okay, so that is silver and gold. Let's just go 4 hour first. So 4 hour, you can see that we've got this. This could even be an expanding flat here, a 1, a 2, a 3, and then we push higher. So let's see what we get here with silver. Could be a push, a bit of a push higher still. Right, and then gold, same. You can watch that very same video when we forecasted this diagonal here. 1, 2, 3, and expected that this was gonna push higher like that. Okay, so not in hindsight, this move has now happened. We focused it way before it happened, and now we're looking for this one to complete the wave 5. Now let's go through the setups that I've posted on gold and see how we've been adjusting and going with this. Let's go here, gold. No, not on gold, it should be on the trade setups. Let's go to trade setups. Let's have a look here. Gold should be right at the top. So that was in July when we looked at this. So this was silver. This was, you can see silver. This is the recent one, not the one before here. This was another update on silver. And it has now reached that 1640 level that we've been expecting. Gold. So now gold, you'll see that as silver was pushing higher, gold was making this structure. It made a 1. We expected that it was going to push higher from there, expecting that this is all the correction, but it instead has made what we have now looked at as a triangle. After breaking out of a triangle, we expected that it was going to go, but instead it does not. It actually makes a 1, a 2, and a 3, and we're still expecting this one to push higher. It may even go up as a diagonal. You'll look at you'll see the structure. Okay, so that is what we're expecting now. The expectation is still for this to go to the upside. You'll see that after this break of the triangle, we actually took a trade there. Right. So now let's have a look here on the updates on gold. So you see, this is when it made a triangle. We updated the triangle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and expected to get trade to the upside. From out here, it is now making a corrective structure. We're still expecting the push to the upside, and you'll see also we've got the latest. This is still the trade, and I've got this one here for the looking to the upside here. You'll see also here this corrective structure has done something like this, and then we're now looking at this one here like that. Okay. Let's go general here. I just want to see, because I posted this one on Friday. I will post it on general so you can get everybody's attention as fast as I could. So this is now the structure on gold. We now have pushed out here, and we're looking for this one to correct here and push higher. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out in the week. Okay, so here's another possibility that you need to look at on gold. So this here, let's switch off here. This could be making an ending diagonal that could still get us to where we want to go. Okay, so this could be an ending diagonal, but this one is looking more like a channel. So we are not expecting an ending diagonal, but rather a sequence to the upside, a different cycle to the upside. Okay, so let's watch and see how this one plays out. So we'll be looking for this one to correct at these levels and push higher. Okay, so that is gold. Another possibility, I don't want to confuse you here, could just be a simple running flat, and then we push higher. Simple. So let's see. We just want to get this correction to complete. Right. So that is silver and gold. Let's go through the pound pairs. Pound pairs are very easy, as I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. I've just been looking for continuation patterns to the downside. Every time you get a pullback here, you've just been selling it to the downside. So now we are very close to a critical level on all the pound pairs. Let's look at this one here. You're very close to this one here now. So that is the target. That is the target on pound chief. Okay, so you're looking for this one to come down here. Okay, even if you look at our channel here, we've updated these long-term charts here. Pound chief. As you see there, expecting this to come down, and it is keeping on coming down here to this level. This does not necessarily have to make a bounce here. We have to see what's going to happen here. That's why at this level you exit all the trades, because this could do that, could be this, and could be going all the way. So, but because it's coming down in 3 waves, we expect that we will have perhaps have a possible bounce here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, and a possible bounce here in an impulsive move before we then get this one here. If we get this one here, let's see how this one plays out. That is chief. Now you just want those pullbacks to the downside and get out when you get to this level and wait for a new entry. Okay, New Zealand still going down, coming down in 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, expecting it to come down to that level. This is a corrective structure. It may make these pullbacks, but this is still coming down. Okay, this is obviously a critical area. If it's broken, we're going to come back down here to these levels. That is New Zealand. Pound Audi, very important, very important one here. You'll see there, we already have an update on this one. That my expectation is that we're going to have a deeper corrective structure here at these levels. And if we have a corrective structure, I've shown this one last week. If we get a corrective structure here, this size, or this size, then this is going to make a big move to the downside, a very big move to the downside. So we have to wait for this corrective structure, and you'll see that this has not been doing anything in the last week. Nothing has happened. You've just remained in that level. Okay, you've just remained in that level. Now you cannot even see clearly what structure it is. You've got 3 waves here, but one of the waves internally is a pulsing one. So what is next here? We need to see, are we going to get another one here? You get another one here, you get a WXY structure. Sorry, not like that. Let's switch this off here. You get a double. This is just forecasting now to see what we could possibly get here. You get this W. Let's take this one off. You can get this one as a W, this one as an X, and then a Y, then the drop. So let's wait for this to play out here and see what structure we get. Okay, that is pound Audi. It is at a critical level, and if you look at the daily, this looks very interesting. And we've tracked this correction for the past 2 years. Now, is it time? And for 2 years, you've been trading this. This is not the money. That's not money. There's not a lot of money here. Okay, the money is in these big moves, and these are the moves that don't come every day. As you can see, this one has been in the correction for the past 2 years. So getting this correction here, big move to the downside. All right, so that is pound Audi, and you'll see that the structure is very clear, and with what we're expecting there, you can take a snapshot and see how we get this one here. Right, that's pound Audi, pound CAD. Close to the blue box, expected a bit of a deeper correction here, did not even make a deep correction, but it's coming down to the blue box. Okay, should actually have here, let's just adjust the labeling here. I will adjust just now. This one should not be there, it should be here rather. Let's put this one here in yellow. And that's it. Very clear structure. We're expecting this one to complete down here at the blue box. Okay, this may not be the reversal, but rather a reaction here before we continue to the downside. But for now, we just want it to come down into the blue box and get a reaction. Whether it's going to be an impulsive reaction or a corrective reaction, we'll see when we get there. All right, so that is pound CAD. And that concludes all the pound pairs. So let's look at euro pound now. This is the trade that we're looking at. So I'm looking at euro pound and looking at this expanding flat here. 1, 2, 3. So you already have this 3-wave pullback that you see on the 4-hour and a push to the upside. I wanted it to just break the top here. It has done that, but it still has not shown signs of reversal to give us this structure. 1, 2, 3. and then the 1, 2, 3 that we expect. There is nothing wrong if this keeps going up here. This will still be a valid expanding flat, even if it gets up to this level. So it can still get to that level. So we'll see how this one goes here. We are waiting for this one to break below here, give us an impulse, and we get the big move to the downside. So this move should happen when the pound pairs start bouncing at the levels that I've shown you where to exit. Okay, so this one will be reaching this level, even if it doesn't, but at any point now, if you see any signs of reversal, we'll be looking for a trade to the downside. That is Euro Pound. Euro Audi. Let's start with the Euro New Zealand rather, because we're trading Euro Audi based on what Euro New Zealand is doing. Yes, right, so Euro New Zealand, we've got this one here, we've got this 3-wave here, it's making another move here. So this Euro New Zealand could be making this structure here. So let's see here. So we've got here a pulsing move here. You could be getting here. We were expecting that it was just going to make a 3-wave move up here, 1, 2, 3, and then drop. So it could be making a double like this. You get this one as a complex running flat here. You get this one to the upside here, and then down. So that move we're still expecting. It may just not be happening right now. So we'll be looking for this one to push a little bit higher and then drop. So this is still a corrective structure, guys. It is still gonna drop. Yes, we got the 700 pips down here. It was not our target. We wanted it. We wanted 1,000 pips to that level. Okay, so now you exit and then you wait for another entry to the downside. So let's wait for this one to play out the way we're looking at now here. That is Euro New Zealand and Euro Audi. Euro Audi also pushing higher. So Euro Audi could be making this move here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then starts following Euro New Zealand like that. Very clear structures. Maybe a move like this before we get this drop. Okay, so that will be very clear. A, B, C structure there. Actually, that is incorrect, guys. Sorry, that is incorrect. You cannot have a correction starting in the direction of the swing. So that is incorrect here. So that is not the corrective structure. So this is the orthodox high here like this. So this is the last move here. And this is the pullback here. Let's just show the whole structure here. So the whole thing here is still a corrective structure. So here, that's what I showed you here. Retest the top here, come back down here with this move. That is the A, B, C structure. Let's just show this one clearly. It's the last move here. 1, 2, 3. Right? Let's just show what we're expecting here. 1, that move that I was showing you now, the A, B, C structure, that is the W, that is the X, that actually makes sense. So now we'll be looking for this one to do this here. I just wanted this to be clear. It can be any corrective structure here and a push higher. Let's switch off so you can see what we're looking at there. So that move is actually the ABC structure in the lower degree. So you can have that ABC, ABC, and ABC structure here. It does not have to be ABC, it can be a corrective structure. So now what you're looking for will be this red degree that should do this 1, 2, 3, and then a push higher. So that's why I was putting in an A there. Okay, so this is quite a complex structure. So let's see how this one is going to play out. So for now, you're looking for this move now to retest the top here. Then you start getting this one here, which will be coming down with the euro down here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, as I've shown. So this is the X here, and then the downside here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got this one here. So 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and then this one here. It has to be like this, very complex structure. When all this is done, we're gonna get a big move to the upside. So this is about a year or two of forecasting. So let's see how this one goes up. Yeah, that's Euro AUD. New Zealand we've looked at just now. EURCAD just wanted to drop into the blue box. You want EURCAD to drop into the blue box. You're getting a correction there. Let's look in the 4 hour. So 4 hour. running flat there, maybe making a complex one, 1, 2, 3 there, maybe making another complex one here, but we're just looking for this one to drop to this level. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, should make another one, 1, 2, 3, and then we drop. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out, but we just want it to come to the blue box. It's EUROCAD, EUROCHF, EUROCHF, still looking for further downside on this one. And someone can, maybe somebody can have a question, why are we looking for euro up while we're looking for EUROCHF down? There's no, it's all about the correlation strength. Something called the correlation coefficient that you need to calculate to check, because you'll see that most of the pairs that have got the same base pairs are not really necessarily going at in the same direction. There's a clear explanation for that, and that is the correlation strength. So EUROCHF still looking downside. If we go to the daily, what I've shown you there was just a trade to the downside that was taken when it was up here. So the entry here, and they were still looking for this to come to go all the way down. Let's go daily here. So EUROCHF still coming down, expected a bit of a pullback, and even that pullback on Euro New Zealand, I thought that was going to be a pullback that will give us this and continuation to the downside. So this is still looking downside, and the target is still right down here at almost parity here with Euro and CHF will be at almost parity where we are targeting them. Okay, so that is how that one looks. Very clear structure. And that is all on the euros. Now let's look at some other cross pairs, and then we look at oil. Let's look at AUDCAD. AUDCAD is at a critical area, it's at the blue box, but it looks like it's going to break below that. So let's see here. So we're expecting that we're going to have this one here, this here. It can still happen that we have this one here, and then a bounce to the downside. So if that structure does not happen, that means we're going to have more downside on AUDCAD. Okay, so let's have a look here on the weekly. So we're expecting this one to be 1, 2, 3 here, a move here, retest the top here, we get another 3-way move here before we get the drop. Okay, so this here is a critical level. If it's broken, then that means that you're gonna have something like this. What you're gonna have is something like this. It's a move down, a correction, and then a move down. So we are almost at the end of this move. Let me draw it clearly. One, let's draw here. This is a weekly now, weekly structure now. Now we're almost at the end of this. Let's see if we're gonna get a bounce to the upside. Now you have to wait for that reversal. Okay, so that's the AUDCAD. Audi New Zealand. Let's go back to the daily. Audi New Zealand still dropping, no signs of reversal, but this is a corrective structure now. Now you'll be looking for, this is coming down correctively, you'll be looking for this one to do this. A bit of a bounce at some point. But for now, there isn't really much to trade this as this is coming down here. Okay, I'll show you the weekly view on this one next week. New Zealand CAD has made the expanding flat here, and then we're looking for this one to drop to the downside. Okay, if you remember, we tried to sell this one here, but it went and made a expanding flat there. Okay, so now it looks like it's going to break below that. Now your trade here is to push lower on New Zealand CAD. Clear structure. New Zealand is this AUDCAD, Audi New Zealand CAD we've done, New Zealand CHF. I didn't look at AUDCHF, we'll look at it just now. New Zealand CHF made a 3-wave pullback, it's now pushing lower. Any corrective structure there, we'll be looking to come down here. AUDCHF, we skipped AUDCHF. Let's do CADJPY first. CADJPY, 3-wave pullback. This could be a move here like this. 3 waves up, You're looking for this one to come down in 3 waves. Looking for this one to come down here, and then they move like that. Okay, so further downside here on CADJPY. So CAD is coming down. And before we do oil, let's do AUDJPY. AUDJPY coming down. You can see January lows as well. So now it's at a critical area. You need to be out of these trades. You need to wait for a pullback. Any pullback or a correction around those areas is further downside. Lastly, oil. So oil last week, I said wait for this corrective structure. Past 2 weeks, this correction took 2 weeks to build. I said wait for this corrective structure to break, and you see that this, if you go watch the video 2 weeks back and last week, I've just updated the same thing. You got the corrective structure, and now you're looking for this one to come down here. Even if it does not retest that low and starts doing this. Okay, so that is oil, and it's looking very clear now, right? We're busy correcting here. It's going to push lower here. So that is the next move for the next week on oil. And we'll see if we're going to get a bounce here. I don't know if that's going to happen in the week. And then we'll be looking for this one here. Maybe this one here as well. And then this downside here. You'll see what we're looking at on oil. Very, very clear structures. Right, thank you guys. That's all I had for you this week. Good luck trading in the next week. Be careful now. We're in the August month. This is going to start getting slow now. And if you've been making money, rather save up your profits and protect your profits. All right. All right, so please don't forget to like and subscribe the video so that next time when I post, you get a update on it. We actually missed the Nifty on the indices. Let's have a look here. We actually did not do the indices here. We did not do the indices. Okay, so let's have a look at the indices, guys. My apologies. Let's look at the indices. Let's look at the indices. I would have missed that. Let's look at the S&P 500. We're busy with pullbacks on all the indices. Very simple here. We're busy with pullbacks on the indices. We've got a pulsing move down here. Just wait for a corrective structure to get another move similar to that. On all the indices, that's what you're going to get with these pulsing moves. Okay. All right, great. Let's have a look. So that is, thanks. IBEC is just making a comment on what we analyzed on oil and the Euro New Zealand dollar stopped out. Okay, right. So that is what we're looking at here now. So correction on S&P 500. The Dow is similar. You've got a pulsing move now. You just need to wait for a bit of a corrective structure there. Bit of a corrective structure and a move like this. Okay, I'm not going to do a full analysis on this one here because we want to see what structure we're going to get here first. Okay, so we're going to need to get a corrective structure and a bit of a push lower. Then we'll update them next week. The NASDAQ is also similar. You'll see we've got a pulsing move to the downside. All of them have made these pullbacks. Not just a pullback, it's an impulsive move. And we now will be looking for this one to do that and a three-wave move pullback there. Okay, so let's then go to the Nikkei, NASDAQ first. We've already done the NASDAQ. That is the NASDAQ. Dow, we already looked at. Nikkei. So Nikkei, after making this three-wave move, could be making another three-wave move here. Maybe an expanding flat here, and then a push higher. Let's see how this one goes. Now, if that is the case, you're going to be getting a bigger corrective structure there like this. Pull like this. But this long-term forecasting, let's now focus on getting this one right here. Bit of a push lower here should follow the rest of the indices. That means bit of a to reach us possibly the low here. And we're going to expect that bounce, then that bounce. That is the Nikkei. So two possibilities there. One is for this one to do that and retest the top, or this one to retest the low here. So now this is the one that I prefer based on what the rest of the structures are doing. I expect this one to do that, retest the low here first. Right, so that is the Nikkei. UK 100. The UK 100, similar. All of them, all the indices have done the same thing. Pullbacks, wait for these 3 waves. You want 3 wave pullback. 3 wave pullback and then resumption of the trend higher. Okay, the DAX, let's look at the DAX. DAX, you can see similar as well. You've got a 3 wave already. We already have a 3 wave pullback on the DAX. It could make another one here and make another 3 waves before pushing higher because the others are pulling back as well. Right. Lastly, Nifty. Or did we look at UK 100? Let's just check here. Okay, we've looked at UK 100. Now, lastly, the Nifty. Nifty, last week we started to look at this one now as this big corrective structure. Let's have a look here. This corrective structure here on the Nifty. One, two, three. Now we're looking at this one as a 1. Last week or week before, we started looking at these to have broken below here, and we'll be looking for this one to make a 3-wave move here. Pulsing move, correction here, and a pulsing move. We'll see what happens when we retest this low here. So following the rest of the indices for the pullback here. So let's see how this one will go. We should have a push to the upside now. We'll be looking for this one to come down to this level. Okay, so that is the Nifty, and that's all that I wanted to look at this week. Have a great week, guys. Trade responsibly. Please like and subscribe to the videos. Thank you very much. Have a great one. Cheers. Bye-bye.